Good afternoon, graduands, friends, and honoured guests. My name is Donald McEwen, and I'm the chaplain to the university. It's my pleasure to welcome you today to this graduation ceremony at the University of St Andrews on this exciting day for you. Presiding at today's graduation ceremony is the Chancellor, Dame Anne Pringle. This ceremony is taking place in the Younger Hall, officially opened in 1929. The Younger Hall is the university's venue for graduations and most formal ceremonies. In a few moments, the academic procession will enter the hall. To welcome the academic procession, St Sylvester's Chapel Choir will lead us in singing the Gaudiamus. Please do join in. The words can be found in your programme. Now, should the fire alarm sound, please remain seated. The alarm will be silenced and staff will immediately investigate the cause of the activation. Should an evacuation be necessary, the alarm will then sound continuously and you will be advised of the need to evacuate. Staff will direct you accordingly. Please follow staff direction and leave the hall by the most appropriate exit. In the unlikely event that any other form of disruption occurs that requires you to take action, an announcement will be made from this stage to advise you on what you need to do. Staff will be on hand to assist you. Please follow their instructions. At the end of the graduation ceremony, all our new graduates will join the academic procession, leaving the Younger Hall and walking along North Street and entering St Sylvester's quadrangle through the archway. To supporters, please wait until all our new graduates have left the hall. Ushers will then show you to the nearest exits. Outside, you will be directed to the quad where you'll be able to join our new graduates. Please ensure your mobile phone is switched off or at least is on silent. You're welcome to take pictures and video, but please stay seated to do so. And now, to capture this unique moment, our official photographer will take a picture of those graduating today before the ceremony begins. Good afternoon. We're ready for this? Light my camera as well. I can see everybody in this hall, so there's no hiding places. Okay, we ready? Let me see your lovely smiles, especially at the front. Excellent. Just give me one more. Nice smiles now. Superb. Congratulations. Enjoy your day. Thank you. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoy the graduation ceremony. As you are able, please rise for the Gaudiamus. Oremus. Omnipotens et aeterni Deus, actiones nostras omnes aspirando praeveni, et adjuvando prosequere, ut cuncta nostra operatio, et praesertim hoc quod nunc agredimur opus, a te incipiat, et per te queptum finiatur, quotenus sanctum nomen tuum glorificemus, et misericordia tua vitam aeternam consequamur. Per Iesum Christum, Dominum nostrum. Amen.
Please be seated. I call upon the principal of the university.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is my happy duty as Principal and Vice-Chancellor to welcome you all to this summer graduation ceremony at the University of St. Andrews. I am delighted that all of you can share in the joy of today's ceremony. Graduation is the highlight of our academic year. At these ceremonies, students are awarded their degrees and people of distinction are honoured. We orient our academic calendar around these celebrations, and they are a tradition that speaks to the heart of our institutional mission. It is also a pleasure to welcome you to the Younger Hall, a fitting setting for the celebration of our graduates' achievements. This well-loved venue has been the home of our graduation ceremony since its initial opening in 1929. Today's graduands will cross the Younger Hall stage in a style that unites them with the students who, for almost a century, crossed it before them, and also, of course, with the students who crossed our stages in the 5 centuries before that. This year, however, marks a moment of significant transition for the University of St. Andrews. Many of you will know that our former Chancellor, the late Right Honourable Lord Campbell of Pitt and Weem, died in September of last year. His loss has been felt keenly across the university, where for nearly 20 years he served St. Andrews with a mixture of integrity and courtesy, leaving a lasting mark on our ceremonial life and on all who witnessed his steady and generous presence. We have since welcomed new stewardship. In February of this year, Dame Anne Pringle was elected to serve as our next Chancellor. A distinguished diplomat and former British ambassador to Russia, Dame Anne brings to the Chancellorship a wealth of experience, discernment, and public service of the highest order. Her ties to St. Andrews are both deep and enduring. As an alumna of this university, graduating with a Master of Arts with honours in French and German in 1977, and through her exemplary leadership as Senior Governor of the University Court from 2016 to 2020. It is therefore especially fitting that her installation as Chancellor should take place during Wednesday afternoon ceremony in this week of celebration, where we gather to honour achievement, continuity and renewal. In welcoming Dame Anne, we mark not only the beginning of a new chapter in our ceremonial life, but also the continuation of a tradition sustained by those who serve this university with distinction and care. The broader graduation tradition which we observe today has indeed taken place at St. Andrews since the second decade of the 15th century, when the university was founded, and some of the rituals that were established in the 1400s remain an integral part of the ceremony. These rituals honour our history and signify the assumption of each graduand's place within an institution that has done as much as any other to shape our modern world. We are Scotland's first and foremost university, the third oldest in the English-speaking world, and one of the 25 oldest still operating. Across 613 years, students and academics have gathered here to build and disseminate knowledge, and their ambition has proven resilient to the challenges mounted against them. The religious and political regimes that have reared and crumbled, the pandemics and wars that have beaten at the doors. Ours is not, however, a story of survival, but of leadership. St. Andrews has been at the vanguard of political, cultural, and intellectual developments since our inception, and our people have steered the hands of monarchs and parliaments since our earliest days. And we are now committed to securing the future of our institution for the next 600 years. This is the aim of the university's Making Waves campaign, launched in autumn 2024, and about which you can find out more in your copy of today's programme. Scotland's first university, St. Andrews, stands in one of Europe's smallest university towns. Across more than 6 centuries, generations of students and scholars have made the journey to this place. And yet the question remains worth asking, why here? To modern eyes, there is something faintly incongruous about the university's location. The town occupies a narrow promontory between 2 estuaries and the North Sea, and its character is such that it sustains a microclimate of its own. Even today, visitors arrive here with a distinct sense of having travelled to the end of something. One of the enduring curiosities of our history is that such an international institution took root in so small a place. St. Andrews possesses neither the commanding scale of Bologna, nor the mercantile reach of medieval Paris, nor the political gravity of Prague, seat of the Holy Roman Emperor, Vienna, a centre of Habsburg dynastic power, or Salamanca, closely bound to the Castilian crown and its administrative life. Yet, in 1413, when the authority to confer degrees was formally granted, St. Andrews became the 50th university founded in Europe, joining an intellectual commonwealth that already extended from the Iberian Peninsula to the Baltic. The university emerged during a period when Europe was becoming more interconnected and more divided at the same time. In the early 15th century, Scotland possessed no university of its own. Those seeking advanced study travelled elsewhere, most often to the great universities of Paris, Orléans, Louvain, or Cologne. Scottish students crossed seas and borders in pursuit of learning, joining intellectual communities that stretched across Europe and connected them to debates, disciplines, and traditions far beyond their homeland. There was, of course, often a single lingua franca used, Latin. In doing so, the scholars became, as it were, part of an international republic of letters, a far-flung fellowship of scholars linked by correspondence and a shared devotion to learning, at a time before the term acquired the currency and self-consciousness it would later enjoy. But the roots on which they depended were often fraught. The 13th and 14th century wars of Scottish independence had already driven many Scottish students away from Oxford and Cambridge. Then came the Great Schism, the prolonged crisis of papal authority that fractured the unity of Western Christendom and exposed latent fissures at the very heart of medieval Europe. From 1378, rival pontiffs asserted their authority from Rome and Avignon, and competing allegiances hardened across the continent, drawing kingdoms, universities, and ecclesiastical institutions into disputes over legitimacy and jurisdiction. Scottish scholars continued to pursue their studies abroad, but they did so against a backdrop of ideological and political dispute in which church and state were equally implicated. While Scottish scholars found themselves navigating political and ecclesiastical tensions across Europe, this did not disrupt established patterns of study as drastically as one might think. Scots continued to travel to European universities in considerable numbers throughout this period. The channels of intellectual exchange remain very much alive. Indeed, many of those responsible for establishing the University of St Andrews had themselves been educated overseas and would continue to maintain scholarly connections beyond Scotland's shores. It was in these circumstances that a group of Scottish masters, many indeed trained in Paris and the Low Countries, gathered in St Andrews in May 1410 to establish a school of higher studies. They chose a place already known for learning, the seat of Scotland's greatest bishopric, and they set about creating something that Scotland had never before possessed, a university of its own, and one of international standing connected to the intellectual currents of Europe. The creation of the university in 1413, when Pope Benedict XIII issued papal bulls that formally established the institution, therefore represented something more ambitious than a substitute for foreign study. It reflected Scotland's determination to participate in the intellectual life of Europe and beyond through an institution rooted within its own kingdom. One of the remarkable features of universities is that they are among the oldest continuously operating institutions in human society. Political systems have come and gone, borders have been redrawn, kingdoms, empires, and dynasties have yielded to history. Yet universities have endured, in part because they were founded upon an idea that was never wholly territorial. Their allegiance has always been divided in the most productive sense, rooted in particular places while belonging simultaneously to an international community of learning. And it is this exchange and encounter from which they derive much of their strength. Today, our university community continues to gather in one place, but it belongs to a more heterogeneous and cosmopolitan gamut of people. Our students come from more than 120 countries, with nearly half drawn from outside the UK. Our staff originate from every corner of the globe, and they bring with them a remarkable range of intellectual traditions and research and pedagogy, so that our students learn at the frontier of knowledge that has greater global resonance. Across Europe, Asia, North America, the Middle East, Africa, and Australasia, we work with partner institutions through joint degrees, co-supervised doctoral programs, research collaborations, and long-standing exchanges. Research undertaken in St Andrews contributes to international conversations on subjects ranging from climate science and public health to artificial intelligence, history, literature, and international relations. So perhaps the answer to the question, why here, is not that St Andrews is an unlikely place for a university, but that it is precisely the kind of place where a university can take root. For over 6 centuries, we have been outward-facing, connected, attuned to the movement of people and ideas across distance and difference. St Andrews has always been a meeting point between local and global tradition and discovery, continuity, and change. And it is in that threshold between them that the work of the university continues, where its most enduring character and perhaps its most enduring promise resides, for the institution itself and for those who move through it. Returning now to today's ceremony and the rituals which connect us to our forebears. The first of these you have already witnessed when St Salvator's Chapel Choir initiated proceedings with a rendition of the Gaudeamus, and the university chaplain, the Reverend Dr. Donald McEwen, delivered the opening prayer. As Principal and Vice-Chancellor, it is my happy duty to welcome you all with this introduction to the ceremony, after which the presentation of degrees by the Chancellor, Dame Anne Pringle, will commence. The conferral of awards at bachelor's, master's, and doctoral level will constitute the core of this ceremony. This ceremony will also see the award of our BA International Honours Joint Degree Programme, offered in partnership with William and Mary in Virginia, USA. In recognition of the thoroughly collaborative nature of this program, I am delighted to welcome our guests from William and Mary to today's ceremony. Today's degrees are conferred both on those many students who are present and on the smaller number of those who are unable to attend and who have thus graduated in absentia. As that phrase indicates, these rituals are conducted partly in Latin, following St. Andrew's tradition. For all the graduands listed in this ceremony, present or absent, the Chancellor will call upon the deans of the respective faculty and ask them to present each graduand for their award in turn. And the Chancellor will then confer the degree with Latin phrases, one of which, for example, translates as, "I raise you to the rank of Master of Arts, and to symbolize this, I place upon you this cap." To most, though, the Chancellor will simply say, "Et super te," meaning, "and upon you too." The precise moment of graduation occurs when the graduate's cap, or birrettum, which the Chancellor will be utilizing, touches the head of the graduand. This academic cap has been used in every ceremony since December 1696, when it was acquired from a St. Andrew's tailor, and it symbolizes the ascension of our graduands into graduates and their assumption of an equal place within our alumni community. When the conferrals are complete, St. Salvator's Chapel Choir will return to deliver a musical interlude, and we are thankful both to the choir and their director, Claire Innes-Hopkins, for the felicity they bring to this occasion. We will then proceed directly to one of the highlights of these ceremonies, the presentation of honorary awards, with the conferral of an honorary doctorate upon today's guest of honor, Professor Bruce Hoffman. To close our ceremony, it is tradition to invite a member of the university to address our new graduates, wish them well as they progress to the next stage of their lives, and offer some final words of inspiration and congratulation. Today's guest speaker is Professor Anthony Lang from the School of International Relations. The ceremony will then conclude with the benediction and the graduation procession. At St. Andrews, the academics and professional staff who have supported you, our graduands, are immensely proud of your accomplishments. But this ritual does not mark the end of your association with St. Andrews. You are joining a vital community of alumni who have positively shaped the world around them for 613 years and who support one another in the present. So while you are graduating, you are not leaving our community, but taking the next step in your St. Andrews experience. And it is our sincere hope that you will continue to engage as a St. Andrean throughout your life.
Decanus Facultatis Artium.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present the degree of Master of Arts with Honours, Kaylee Alexander.
Te ad gradum magistri artium promoveo, cuius re in symbolum super te hoc birrettum impono.
Luke Baird.
Et super te.
Katie Barriotti.
Et super te.
Sabrina Bergen.
Et super te.
Romy Bozier.
Et super te.
Matilda Briscoe.
Et super te.
Oliver Bruce.
Et super te.
Alexander Brunstrom.
Et super te.
Mia Caruso.
Et super te.
Jen Wei Chen.
Et super te.
Kirsty Crosby.
Et super te.
Katie Dolan.
Et super te.
Amy Elvins.
Et super te.
Camille Glatt.
Et super te.
Prithvi Gupta.
Et super te.
Ellie Harrison.
Et super te.
Julia Hishri.
Et super te.
Emma Hull.
Et super te.
Isabel Knight.
Et super te.
India Kolb.
Et super te.
Amelia Lamb.
Et super te.
Evie Laszlo.
Et super te.
Anna Laws.
Et super te.
Katie Lawson.
Et super te.
Francesca Lawson McDowell.
Et super te.
Alice Lee.
Et super te.
Roland Legg.
Et super te.
Ben Marshall.
Et super te.
Henry Matusow.
Et super te.
Taylor Mahwini.
Et super te.
Kenan McAndrews.
Et super te.
Josh McCallum.
Et super te.
Eric McKinley.
Et super te.
Lizzie McLaughlin.
Et super te.
Connor Morris.
Et super te.
Emma Nelson.
Et super te.
Taylor Nord.
Et super te.
Sophia Panek.
Et super te.
Fanula Papilius.
Et super te.
Alice Polan.
Et super te.
Laura Popovich.
Et super te.
Alix Ramillon.
Et super te.
Matthew Rabine.
Et super te.
Sebastian Richardson.
Et super te.
Madigan Ryan.
Et super te.
Claire Sachs.
Et super te.
Cole Schubert.
Et super te.
Finlay Scott.
Et super te.
Hannah Schifra.
Et super te.
Isaac Smith.
Et super te.
Henry Spark.
Et super te.
Liam Spellacy.
Et super te.
Adele Spitz.
Et super te.
Brewer Stone.
Et super te.
Mafalda Teixeira de Melo Herais.
Et super te.
Alexandra Chantova.
Et super te.
Claudia Toledo Shader.
Et super te.
Gabriela Trautzmandorf Weinsberg.
Et super te.
Juliana Tully Ayala.
Et super te.
Zacharias Val Gutierrez.
Et super te.
Isabel Ward.
Et super te.
Emily Watson.
Et super te.
Ellen Winters.
Et super te.
Safia Wright.
Et super te.
Yasmin Young.
Et super te.
Greta Shakalitia.
Et super te.
Isabella Zhang.
Et super te.
Aria Zimmerman.
Et super te.
Lucian Pasante.
Et super te.
Elena Severini.
Et super te.
Julia Albersmeyer.
Et super te.
Olivia Asteris.
Et super te.
Ramsey Bader.
Et super te.
Sophie Bellan.
Et super te.
Kaylee Corcoran.
Et super te.
Oksane Duyej.
super te.
Fanny Elekesh.
Et super te.
Theodore Foliani.
Et super te.
Ilaria Fraser.
Et super te.
Cameron Greer.
Et super te.
Emily Hardacre.
Et super te.
Charles Hines.
Et super te.
Jing Shun Jin.
Et super te.
Jack Pilot.
Et super te.
Olga Alonso Blanco.
Et super te.
Hanan Anjarwala.
Et super te.
Sienna Elizabeth Arroyo.
Et super te.
Alexandros Avramidis.
Et super te.
Noah Begas Dudan.
Et super te.
Dylan Bemis.
Et super te.
Luke Caramanico.
Et super te.
Ella Clifford.
Et super te.
Izzy Cluley.
Et super te.
Catherine Klein.
Et super te.
Simon Cohen.
Et super te.
Cyril Cornet.
Et super te.
Thomas Cranmer.
Et super te.
Oliver Dan.
Et super te.
Camille Delamere.
Et super te.
Kira Easterbrook.
Et super te.
Samantha Fahey.
Et super te.
Grace Flato.
Et super te.
Ashvin Gupta.
Et super te.
Samuel Hancock.
Et super te.
Mary Henderson.
Et super te.
Matthew Hudson.
Et super te.
Stella Kekalos.
Et super te.
Daniel Lindsay.
Et super te.
Olivia Morse.
Et super te.
Peter Napier.
Et super te.
Fergus Nisbet.
Et super te.
Jamie Norton.
Et super te.
Carlina Poji Lee.
Et super te.
India Povi.
Et super te.
Dominic Stagg.
Et super te.
Christian Tate.
Et super te.
Millie Thompson.
Et super te.
George Toulouse.
Et super te.
Lucian Willie.
Et super te.
Oliver Willoughby Jones.
Et super te.
Michael Ewan.
Et super te.
Violet Bichot.
Et super te.
Rodrigue Dalbos.
Et super te.
Mary Donner.
Et super te.
Emilio Dowling Ranera.
Et super te.
Mariana Edward.
Et super te.
Leanne Graber.
Et super te.
Chai Ho.
Et super te.
Agatha Mala.
Et super te.
Malachi McCalla.
Et super te.
Nawal Mirza.
Et super te.
Augustus Roberts.
Et super te.
Gwyneth Theobald.
Et super te.
Kinley Trott.
Et super te.
Charlotte Berg.
Et super te.
Iman Shaka.
Et super te.
Julia Liberatore.
Et super te.
Amy McCallum.
Et super te.
Olivia Moore.
Et super te.
Alexander Bond.
Et super te.
Andrew Hammond.
Et super te.
Karina MacDonald.
Et super te.
Peter Stanwood.
Et super te.
Andrew Benstead.
Et super te.
Alice Burliant.
Et super te.
Seda Beer.
Et super te.
Charlotte Burns.
Et super te.
Selena Chen.
Et super te.
Sophie Cooper.
Et super te.
Madeleine Deal.
Et super te.
Olivia Douglas.
Et super te.
Niamh Ellison.
Et super te.
Sydney Kennedy.
Et super te.
Leanna Lyon.
Et super te.
Willa Marston.
Et super te.
Ainsley McCloy.
Et super te.
Grace Risucci.
Et super te.
Nathaniel Tannenbaum.
Et super te.
Adriana Bobenreath.
Et super te.
Anna Granville.
Et super te.
Federico Greaves.
Et super te.
Emily Hadfield.
Et super te.
Yoshino Homo.
Et super te.
George Outcalt.
Et super te.
Ella Purdon.
Et super te.
Rodrigo Barnuevo Fernandez.
Et super te.
Rowan Blacklock.
Et super te.
Anna Lucia Chalmers.
Et super te.
Abigail Cunningham.
Et super te.
Ava Daniels.
Et super te.
Maya Fennick.
Et super te.
Grace Karam.
Et super te.
Gabriel Klug.
Et super te.
Caroline Lindsay.
Et super te.
Holden Milman.
Et super te.
Ananya Nanapanini.
Et super te.
Emric Olivo.
Et super te.
Brando Rena.
Et super te.
Sasha Rudling.
Et super te.
Kim Vanka.
Et super te.
Zizi Wardle.
Et super te.
Maya da Silva.
Et super te.
Tarana Sana.
Et super te.
Anya Ranft.
Et super te.
Chancellor, I ask you to confer the degree in absentia on Tamerlan Belinsky, Rowan Farmer, Natalie Lim, Lila Worgan.
Eos absentus magistros artium renuncio.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts International with Honours, Ciara Dean.
Te ad gradum baccalaureae artium promoveo, cuius re in symbolum super te hoc biretum impono.
Devon Cussy.
Et super te.
Remy Patterson.
Et super te.
Ella Siebentrit Clark.
Et super te.
Mahaley Wise.
Et super te.
Claire Lewis Battaglia.
Et super te.
Georgie Butch.
Et super te.
Abigail Cochran.
Et super te.
Caroline DeRozier.
Et super te.
Jia Hu Huo.
Et super te.
Robinson Jiang.
Et super te.
Ben Kurokawa.
Et super te.
Colin Malee.
Et super te.
Edward Wiederbeyer.
Et super te.
Sophia Williams.
Et super te.
Sarah Callahan.
Et super te.
Bailey Langhans.
Et super te.
Megan McCarthy.
Et super te.
Natalie Smith.
Et super te.
Sophia Morrow.
Et super te.
Kayleen Robertson.
Et super te.
Lily Horowitz.
Et super te.
Corinne Nichols.
Et super te.
Kristen Tresh.
Et super te.
Aidan Alibi.
Et super te.
John Beck.
Et super te.
Amy Browning.
Et super te.
Colin Coopers.
Et super te.
Emily DeYoung.
Et super te.
Dylan DeRue.
Et super te.
Charlotte Veit Leichman.
Et super te.
Ciara Hannon.
Et super te.
Charlotte Harvey.
Et super te.
Samuel Huff.
Et super te.
Sydney Caron.
Et super te.
Ava Keddy,
Et super te.
Alexander Lekarev,
Et super te.
Hao Yu Leng,
Et super te.
Sophia Lebeau,
Et super te.
Clara McAllister,
Et super te.
Eva McDonough,
Et super te.
Anna Moran,
Et super te.
Claire Radinsky,
Et super te.
Olivia Schlamp,
Et super te.
Sahar Sidi,
Et super te.
Sydney Silvas,
Et super te.
Isabel Spielberger,
Et super te.
Megan Velotas,
Et super te.
Alvaro Volker Perez,
Et super te.
Chancellor, I ask you to confer the degree in absentia on Catherine Bartlett, George Barton, Alexa Chambers, Eva Hilsenrath, Julia Horvath, Rochani Padong Patanodom, Zoe Pruthi, Annika Vaughan.
Ex absentis baccalaureus artium renuncio.
Chancellor, I ask you to confer the postgraduate diploma in absentia on Benjamin Leakey.
Eum absentem diplomatum renuncio.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the degree of Master of Letters, Laura Buchanan.
Te ad gradum magistri literarum promoveo, cuius rei in symbolum super te hoc biretum impono.
Rebecca Davis,
Et super te.
Frederick Hansen,
Et super te.
Eleanor Knight,
Et super te.
Konstantin Rack,
Et super te.
Chancellor, I ask you to confer the degree in absentia on Joanna Cheney, Jacob Allen Davis, Oliver Haliski, John Reed, Gaudens Rust.
Ex absentis magistros literarum renuncio.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for a thesis entitled The Strategic Narratives of Small States, an analysis of the foreign policy discourses of the UAE and Qatar. Haya Al-Nuemi.
Te ad gradum doctoris philosophiae promoveo, cuius rei in symbolum super te hoc biretum impono.
For a thesis entitled Taliban Performativity, Contestation and Representation, 1994 to 2001. Sepide Azerbaijani Mogadam.
Et super te.
For a thesis entitled Frame Against the West, Transformation of the Modern Chinese National Identity. Mang Si Cheng.
Et Super Te.
For a thesis entitled Revolutionary Loyalties, Organizational Attachments and Armed Struggles in Kurdistan, James Hewitt.
Et Super Te.
For a thesis entitled The New Wave of Sectarianism, Sunni-Shia Conflict and Security Implications for the Persian Gulf, 2011 to 2019, Andlib Hussaini.
Et Super Te.
For a thesis entitled Flesh-Made Earth, Incarnational Phenomenology and the Ontological Remaking of Climate Politics, Kyung Jin Lee.
Et Super Te.
For a thesis entitled Building Indigenous Defence Industries in Technologically Third-Tier Countries, the Cases of South Korea, Israel and Poland, Ik Chun Min.
Et Super Te.
For a thesis entitled Three Courts, Three Paths, Institutional Conceptions and Responses to Conflict-Related Sexual Violence against Men and Boys across the ICTY, ICTR and ICC, 1993 to 2023. Leo Nwaye.
Et Super Te.
For a thesis entitled Civilized Weapons and Savage Warfare, Race and American Air Power Strategy, 1918 to 1973, Dan Roberts.
Et Super Te.
For a thesis entitled The United Nations Security Council at a Crossroads, an analysis of its role in the fight against terrorism in the case of foreign terrorist fighters, Simon Schwesig.
Et Super Te.
For a thesis entitled One Man's Terrorist is Another Woman's Baby, exploring the role of agency in sentencing outcomes for female terrorism offenders in England and Wales, Chloe Squires.
Et Super Te.
For a thesis entitled Solidarist Discourse, Pluralist Practice, The Evolution of a Regional Order in Latin America, Carolina Zaccato.
Et Super Te. I call upon Professor Ali Watson of the School of International Relations.
Chancellor, it is my privilege to present for the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa, Professor Bruce Hoffman. Many of you sitting here today will have read Bruce Hoffman's work. His book, Inside Terrorism, first published in 1998, has become the foundational text for the study of terrorism, described by Columbia University Press as one of the 25 most notable books published by them since their founding in 1893. Now entering its 4th edition, Inside Terrorism is nevertheless only one part of a highly significant and still growing body of scholarship that includes single-author, co-authored and co-edited books, numerous peer-reviewed articles, book chapters, review articles, reports, opinion pieces and congressional testimonies. Taken together, this work has provided the roadmap for the development of terrorism studies for over 4 decades, including charting the rise of far-right extremism, which began with his first professional publication released in 1982, and which came full circle with his most recent book, God, Guns and Sedition, an award-winning examination of far-right terrorism in America, which he co-authored with Jacob Ware in 2024. What you may not know about that first edition of Inside Terrorism was that it was written here in St Andrews. Bruce joined the then Department of International Relations in the summer of 1994, first as senior lecturer and then reader, beginning a deep and abiding association with St Andrews that continues to this day. Very soon after his arrival, Bruce was elected head of department, and that same year became founding director of the school's Centre for the Study of Terrorism and Political Violence. Bruce returned to the US in 1998, first to the RAND Corporation as both director of its Washington, DC office and their corporate chair in counterterrorism and counterinsurgency, before returning to academia full-time in 2006, when he became a full professor in Georgetown's Edmund A. Walsh School of Foreign Service, a position that he still holds today. This stellar academic career has run alongside a significant record of public service, including his 2013 congressional appointment to the Independent Commission to review the FBI's post-9/11 response to terrorism and radicalization, where he served as a lead author of the Commission's final report. This service has been recognized throughout his career, including his 1994 receipt of the US intelligence community's SEAL Medallion, the highest level of commendation that can be awarded to a non-government employee by that community. There is so much more that I could say, but I will end with this. When God, Guns and Sedition won the Airey Nave Memorial Book Prize in 2025, one of the judges noted that the authors are to be congratulated not just for the book, but for the courage to write the book. That courage is a quality that stands out not only in Bruce's scholarship, but in his academic practice. He has always been the first to step forward in support of others, whether that's championing the careers of female academics, ensuring younger scholars get the recognition they deserve, or in the central role he played in helping to evacuate Afghans to safety following the Taliban's return to power in 2021. For Bruce, nothing is more important than acting with honour, integrity and kindness. Chancellor, in recognition of his significant contribution to the study and development of international relations at St Andrews and to his scholarship and service within the field of terrorism and political violence, I ask you to confer the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa on Professor Bruce Hoffman.
Te ad gradum doctoris literarum honoris causa promoveo, cuius re in symbolum super te hoc beretum impono.
Chancellor, Principal, faculty, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and especially graduates. Thank you, truly and most sincerely, and thank you, Professor Watson, dearest Al, for that lovely laureation. This venerated university has stood at the heart of learning and research for more than 6 centuries. To have twice been a member of its faculty, and now to be welcomed back in this way, eclipses any honor that an academician could reasonably aspire to, much less expect. When the late Professor Paul Wilkinson and I co-founded the Center for the Study of Terrorism and Political Violence, and I had the privilege of serving as its first director, we fervently believed that the systematic, rigorous study of terrorism was not only a legitimate subject worthy of scholarly inquiry, but one essential to the security and the well-being of the liberal democratic state. That over 3 decades later, the center continues to thrive and uphold the highest standards of academic excellence and policy relevance is something that we all can take tremendous pride in. I am profoundly grateful to the university's court and senate, to those who put my name forward and voted to grant me this honor, and to everyone gathered here today. Thank you very much.
I call upon Professor Anthony Lang of the School of International Relations.
Chancellor, Principal, special guests, colleagues, and graduates. First and most importantly, congratulations. Before I get to what I want to say, I want to acknowledge that behind you and above you are family and friends who have supported you while you have been here at St. Andrews. Please take a moment and congratulate those who've supported you. I have 4 children, so I know how hard it is to support kids. Again, congratulations to you graduates. You've thought long and hard about global politics. You've learned how to describe, explain, understand, and evaluate the complexities of the international system. You've developed the theoretical and methodological tools to be truly global citizens. There's probably one other thing you've learned while studying international relations, and that is how to disagree. How to disagree with your colleagues, lecturers, and tutors. Here at St. Andrews, we create, we hope, spaces in which disagreements about difficult topics can take place in a thoughtful, professional, and respectful way. But the world is not the classroom, as you will soon learn, and so it is about how to disagree that I want to speak to you today. Now, I'm guessing there have been a few conversations at the dinner table, on social media, or at family parties where friends and family might not entirely agree with you. In fact, they may see the fact that you are a student at St. Andrews studying IR as good reason to challenge you. So, you're an expert in global politics now, they might say. What about X, Y, and Z that I read on my friend's social media post that tells me the real truth about Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, Palestine, human rights, woke politics, the Reform Party, Scottish independence, transgender rights, etc., etc.? We all have that uncle, aunt, father, mother, brother, sister, and or friend who seems to see the discussion of politics, global or national, as some sort of gladiatorial combat that they need to win. I want to tell you a story about my own life as a way to think about how to disagree. My political awakening took place in the 1980s in the US as a high school student when I realized I was a Democrat rather than the socially conservative Republican like my parents. They grudgingly at times accepted my views. But what stands out to me more is my Uncle Bob, and that's really his name. My uncle was my father's older brother who lived from 1927 to 2013. He volunteered to serve in the Navy in World War II. He was a Republican, Catholic, and conservative, and he loved to talk politics. At family parties in the suburbs of Cleveland with lots of uncles, aunts, and cousins looking on, he relished discussing the political issues of the day. When I told him I was a Democrat at the tender age of 15, Uncle Bob took no prisoners. He would sit in a plastic folding chair, beer in hand, and beckon me over to discuss Ronald Reagan, conservatism, and American exceptionalism. I can distinctly remember siblings and cousins looking on our discussions, some interested, but most probably wanted to play more American football or spend time in Lake Erie. But Uncle Bob knew how to disagree. While he liked to debate, I do not think he saw it as needing to belittle or embarrass his teenage nephew. So let me give you 3 things about disagreeing that I learned from my Uncle Bob. First, he listened to me. I was just a teenager, but Uncle Bob would wait until I made my rather often unclear and emotive point before responding, and he looked me in the eye. He paid attention to what I was saying, and by listening to me, he showed me respect. He did not dismiss what I was saying. He did not try to impose on me some scholarly or ideological authority, something you may be tempted to do as you go forth in life, or maybe some of we did it to you. He did not hide behind a social media post. In fact, there was no social media then. His respect came about through the simple act of speaking face to face with me, even as we disagreed. Second, Uncle Bob made me and everyone around us laugh. He would gently tease me, pointing out how my youth and idealism were shaping my views. But he didn't laugh at me. He made me and others laugh, an important distinction, I think, in today's world of social media. I think at times I got angry when I got home after those parties, but I think he was right to tease me a bit. He believed that politics was important, but he also seemed to know that when we take ourselves and our adversaries too seriously, and when we turn disagreements about ideas and actions into attacks on character or identity, it leads to a much darker place. Finally, Uncle Bob created a space in which I felt safe enough to disagree. I would always be his nephew, and he would always be my uncle. Now, I don't mean to say Uncle Bob would give me a big hug and make sure I felt good after our debates. I mean, this was the Midwest in the 1980s, so, There was no worry that I could not handle our disagreements. But there was always a wink after our conversation or some other sign that he reminded me we were still a family. It was a space where I could disagree without fear and where, strangely, I felt love in disagreement. So, as you go forth and as you engage in disagreements with your family and friends, remember my Uncle Bob. Perhaps even more importantly, create spaces outside of those family and friend networks where you can disagree, where you can listen, laugh, and love each other. You know the facts about global politics, but now you need to create spaces where you can disagree about those facts and ideas. Social media spaces are perhaps the worst of such places, but even those can be improved. Your job now is to create new spaces and reinforce old spaces where disagreements can take place. Because when we forget how to disagree, we make the world an uglier place. Disagree with each other for certain, but doing without being angry, dismissive, or mean. Create spaces for disagreement together, because we definitely need them. Good luck.
if you are able, please stand for the benediction.
Oremus. Gratia Domini nostri Iesu Christi, et caritas Dei, et communicatio Spiritus Sancti sit cum omnibus nobis, in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Amen.